So, hello everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Chuck Meyer, and as Tim said, I am a colleague of his on the developer relations team here at Algolia. And I want to welcome Klaus Mortreux to the stage as well. Klaus is you're the front end tech lead for BlackBird, right?
Absolutely. I've been part of BlackBird for 3 years and a half now. It's only this year that the new position came in, so I'm more than glad to be here tonight with you.
Awesome. And for those that have followed DevBit past, this is kind of a historic moment. With Klaus is our first partner that we've had on stage with us, and we've brought him here today because the agency, BlackBird agency, has been doing some really amazing things in the Magento space, and I really wanted to share some of it. So this is going to be a lot more about front-end integration. Thankfully, I believe the Magento plugin is taking care of a lot of the back end for you all, which means that a lot of the work has really been kind of on the front end. But why don't you tell us a little bit about BlackBird, what you do, kind of who your customers are, et cetera?
Absolutely. So BlackBird is soon to be 10, actually. Next year, we will be celebrating our 10th birthday. We are a French agency that started on the Magento 1 platform some years ago, actually creating new modules and extension. Afterwards, we specialize into creating and onboarding customers from scratch and creating or maintaining e-commerce website using the Magento 1 solution. Afterwards, Magento 2 came out, and we've obviously upgraded everyone to the new thing. We have a lot of different customers, I would say, from very distinct sizing. We have small local persons working in the countryside, I would say, having maybe 5 to 10 employees selling cutlery or custom argile. At the same time, we have big retailers such as Maison Kitsune, which we will talk a little bit later on, or Banana Moon, like most of the amazing companies in France on the retailing part or the clothing companies. Yes.
Excellent. But primarily kind of in the Magento space. That's your bread and butter right now, as it were.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
Of course, we are not closing any doors yet regarding having our eyes elsewhere, but at the moment, it's our bread and butter, as you said. The tagline of BlackBird being Magento Delicatessen. So in the meantime, we're staying
there we go. Awesome. Well, let's move on. The specific project that really kind of drew my eye was the Maison Kitsune project. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, how BlackBird got involved, maybe show us a little bit of kind of what you built, and we can start digging in on some of the most interesting things about that integration.
Yeah, sure. So we've been having Maison Kitsune for a little bit more than 3 years, so almost the same time that I've been in the company. When we received the Maison Kitsune project, a previous agency already implemented the first draft of the autocomplete module. Afterwards, we just basically built everything on top of that. So we've integrated the InstantSearch module. We've a little bit customized the autocomplete feature, but the biggest work we achieved lately has been the migration of the website from the Luma base theme of Magento onto the Hyvä base theme. Hyvä is a new, I would say, theme/framework from Magento that has been really pushing through since, I would say, 2 or 3 years, really putting Magento on its head, I would say, because sometimes Adobe, now the owner, is a little bit focused on the back end and sometimes put the front end at the second part. But Hyvä decided to just put everything on its head and push everything back, start from scratch, pushing away jQuery, Require.js, and the classic less style sheets for a new Alpine.js and Tailwind CSS framework.
Got it. And so because it's Alpine based, I imagine that there is a kind of a passion for keeping things thin, keeping things light, right? That tends to kind of be the Alpine way of doing things.
Yes, it's actually the best compromise, I would say, between the old-fashioned way of having jQuery modules or Require.js libraries and having React, because React is nice. I don't have anything against it, but sometimes it's a little bit overused or overhyped, I would say. But for a e-commerce platform, I think Alpine is the way to go. It's both lightweight and have all the new features that we're using in the state-of-the-art front-end development.
Got it. And so, we have lots of folks on right now that are living in the Algolia universe, and so they're probably familiar with our instant search libraries and probably aware that we tend to be kind of React first in the way we build things. I think even some of our vanilla libraries, you'll still find a little bit of Preact in there even. And I imagine that was probably a bit of a challenge for you as you were kind of thinking about how to work in the Hyvä world.
Absolutely. It was the biggest challenge. Since Hyvä is community-based, a lot of things are already maintained by the amazing dev community around the project. But for Algolia specifically, we are kind of the trailblazers, putting everything we can from Algolia onto this new project and working with a new compat module. So we're having a little bit of let's say a rough time, the rocky road to the performance, I would call it, because we had to twist everything available at our hand without pushing everything away that has been developed in the previous years, because the idea was to keep all the features we have built in the previous theme and just move them on the go with the new theme. So hopefully, actually, we reuse most of the stuff you had before switching to the new Preact version of Algolia and using Mustache.js and some HTML elements as well. So we kind of twisted everything between Alpine, Vanilla.js, Mustache, Hugan. And let's say it's not the most beautiful code, but it's working very, very well.
Excellent. So you're able to kind of continue using old school Mustache templating, which I know is something that some folks have missed since we've moved into sort of the more of the JSX space.
Absolutely.
Cool. Now you had mentioned to me, so there was actually like a compatibility library that Hyvä provided, right? But that's kind of where you saw a lot of this kind of bulk in the success that you didn't like there.
Yes, the base library available, I think still now, is more for shim for the Algolia module. So it's keeping a lot of the front-end technology used on the Luma framework, so with the old jQuery and everything else. So it was kind of it would have been kind of sad to just implement it as if, because we would just keep re-injecting jQuery into the workload, which was not the idea on board at all, was to get rid of everything. So actually, we had the genius mind, who is not with us tonight, but Emily, or Miss Algolia herself from BlackBird, really dive deep into the whole module and find a way to keep the idea of Algolia, but twisted in a new fashion, using some live loading of all the source code, keeping us away from jQuery and using dynamic script loading. Also, as we said earlier, tweaking Hugan to work with an Alpine environment friendly, I would say.
That's awesome. And I have to ask, with some of this being sort of community supported and open source, your hard learned lessons, is any of that going to make it back into the modules for other folks to benefit from?
Absolutely. So
awesome. Right answer.
Not everything will be ready though, because we've implemented almost everything from Algolia, which means the instant search library, the autocomplete library, but also the insights library, which are very, very helpful. Actually, I have a little bit of a demo if you...
Yeah, let's get into the implementation. I would love to show this off. And if folks have questions, I think Tim's kind of keeping an eye on the Q&A for us too. So as we kind of move from the big picture down into actual implementation details, feel free to ask questions.
Absolutely. Just waiting for my screen to pop up. Okay, perfect.
There we go. It's on continue.
So this is the whole website. Some of the key features we're having is, of course, the instant search technology on the website, which replaced the whole native listing from Magento using Algolia. So all you can see here below the title is actually generated live with the GS and Algolia from all the indexes, which give us the opportunity to have an almost instant loading listing, which is kind of amazing for Magento, which is kind of renowned to be a little bit slow. One of the neat features we have is, of course, the live filtering for sizing, colors, categories of products you're looking for. All of that is very, very good. One of the key challenge we had regarding this feature is that the autocomplete technology back at the time we were implementing the website wasn't very friendly with live filtering. So the whole challenge, and I think it's the biggest thing we've made and the thing we're the most proud of, is actually having a live filtering opportunity on the website. So wherever you are on the website, you can just type down something, I don't know, like Paul, if you want a sweatshirt or something like this, and you have a new instant search actually popping on top of the previous one. Using this second instant search technology, you can actually filter it as well. So what it means is that on the same website, we have two different instant search modules running along.
So that essentially you're using one of the instant searches as an autocomplete, but with filtering capabilities through this tray, and then the other one is sort of your traditional full page instant search, and
Absolutely.
And you can hand off very seamlessly back and forth between them.
Yes.
I really love that filter tray. I think that's a really clever implementation. And so, the reason you couldn't do this with autocomplete was the lack of filtering capabilities within autocomplete at the time.
Yes, I think it did evolve a little bit afterwards we implemented. But the good news is that the compatibility module we're working very highly on with Emily is that the autocomplete module will be available for everyone as well as the instant search. The only thing we kind of keeping for ourselves is the possibility to instantiate the twice or maybe more instant search modules at the same time. It's our secret sauce, I would say, that we're keeping close to us.
Yeah, I love that pattern. I think it's really cool. And I mean, there's definitely a lot of guidance within our documentation about how to sort of bind together the autocomplete search box and the instant search, but having kind of this multiple, I think this is a really cool pattern here.
I do have a question from the audience about the pattern of having two instant searches. Did you see any performance issue having to load the same library twice?
Actually, no. It's part of the, I would say, the most complicated piece of code of the website, which is the Algolia include template we're having. That is in charge of loading all the different libraries used by Algolia, especially the main bundle, the Hugan pre-templating script, and everything else. So we have a whole, I would say, observer, a keeper, let's call it a keeper. We have a keeper trying to keep a trace of everything running on the website. So anytime we're having the need to have a library on the go, we're just loading and keeping it on the site. So if for some reason there is a need for it again, we just have it straight from the cache and straight from the performance. So everything is kind of always deduplicated, which means that the first time the website is loaded, it's not really a performance issue. It's more of a comprehensive issue that there is a lot of threads going on, pulling everything, trying to have all the scripts coming at the correct time, because some of the scripts are dependent to other, and just making sure that everything is pulling back together.
Okay, so the complexity was more into loading the scripts, but once they are running, there's no interference in between the two. There's no performance issue in the displaying.
No, absolutely. The main challenge was to make sure that we have everything on the go. For one reason is that we have the instant search module loaded everywhere on the website. So even if you are on your own dashboard or just checking an order or anything, we still have instant search on the go, ready for you to be used if you're using the autocomplete module. But we also have a neat feature, which is the cross-sell push area into the minicart. So which means we still have to have another one ready on the go. That way, having the keeper watching all the scripts coming in and coming out, we just know that we can instantiate push areas almost everywhere on the website and just push products for the clients to use.
Now, those recommendations that you're seeing over there on the side, is that actually powered by Algolia Recommend, or is that sort of your own code or a mixture?
This one specifically is actually a specific one. We're just having a rule set to have single products with one size only. So for instance, caps, tote bags, stuff like this. Some products vary. One of the main criteria was to be not so pricey, because Maison Kitsune being a premium brand, sometimes the prices can go quite high up. And the second reason was to have something that you can add without thinking about it. Like if you have a sweatshirt or a dress, you have to check for the sizing. You have to be sure that you're ordering the correct product. If you're just having a tote bag or something like this, you don't really care about the sizing. So
got it. Yeah. So there's a lot of kind of merchandising rules that power that more so than machine learning. Got it. Sure. Okay. But there are other places where you're doing recommendations as well. Is that right?
Sure. So we have this highlight section that is used everywhere on the website, especially on the homepage, all the landing pages, because Maison Kitsune has a lot of capsule collection coming in and coming out during the year. And this highlight section is actually a query using InstantSearch, having I would say, small version of the listing area onto the website, and it's just a block that you can plug almost everywhere at any time. So the whole idea behind it was to be able to give the merchandising team of the Maison Kitsune marketing team the possibility to select all the products using their SKU, and then afterwards retrieving it from Algolia. One of the questions we had, because since we were rebuilding almost everything from scratch, was, do we change the implementation of Algolia? But the reason is that, no, we didn't change anything. So all the projects are actually referenced by two different keys. There is the object ID used by Algolia, and then the SKU project for Magento.
Got it. So you actually are kind of doing almost a browse against your index to go ahead and retrieve just the specific items that you want in these cases for highlighting.
Absolutely.
Cool. So, and I think you were talking, there are a couple places too where you're doing some similar product type stuff as well.
Yes, absolutely. On the main page of the product, if you're browsing a T-shirt, for example, we're using all Algolia has to offer on the cross-sell and the upsell area. So we have two different sections that are always present. Is the similar product, which is actually using Algolia Recommend, using all the AI-powered technology, checking for all the products similar to one another. And we have the you might also like product, which is using all the events from the inside and just checking everything that all the other customers would have also put into their basket where they're browsing the website in the meantime.
We do have a question from the audience asking if you have been using Algolia rules functionality or if you re-implemented it yourself.
No, actually, we kept it. One of the interesting features is that the whole team can select all the products themselves for a specific listing directly on Algolia dashboard or through the connector of Magento from the back office area, from Magento itself.
Cool. So it actually passes through. So someone who's very comfortable in the Magento side of it, they don't even have to go into the dashboard. They can select there and it just gets pushed down into the rules.
Yes.
Very cool. Love it.
If I could interrupt, I have one question that just popped up. Back onto the keeper you mentioned to keep track of which script has been loaded. Is that only for Algolia InstantSearch and its dependencies? Or are you doing that for every third-party script like GDPR, Tag Manager, Optimizely, and so on?
No, the keeper is almost Algolia related only. Using Alpine, we have a very custom module from BlackBird. Actually, I'm a little bit pushing ourselves forward. We've developed an Alpine compatibility module to load external resources easily on the go. So we're using that module to load, for instance, Splide, which is our slider module, or some photo swipe, which is the zoom in library that allows to really dig into the details of a picture, for example. So all of this is using our very own library. And for the third party, as much as we could, we try to re-implement either a facet loader or just trying to make everything run as smooth as possible using the guidelines provided by Hyvä, which, by the way, are very, very on top of their game regarding all the web vitals and the best practice you could use to optimize your workload.
Great.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, so I think we talked, Tim might have even brought up like the Google Tag Manager stuff and kind of all of those pieces of it, which segues well into the event stuff that we were just talking, or I'm sorry, the recommend stuff that we were just talking about, because those
Yes.
recommendations are powered by events. So how
Yes.
did you implement events? I know you said you did a lot of kind of hand-rolled widgets and things. Did you have to hand-roll the event management as well?
So we're using Algolia Insight for most of the events. We implemented few custom events, especially since we have a lot of quick shop options everywhere on the website, in the mini cart, in the cart itself, in the listing, on the homepage. So we keep track of the context option from where the product has been added from. So this is one of the custom events we implemented. And the other one is actually the product variant. For example, this tank top is in blue, but one user might like it in purple or yellow or orange. So anytime a user is clicking here, we actually register the input into the insight. But since it's not enough for such a big company, we also have a very precise and custom tracking plan using Google Analytics. And we also have some third-party, I would say, insights like information from our partner using the sizing guide, for example.
Oh, right on. So we've got multiple sources all kind of coming in together, but you're being very kind of specific and intentional about which ones you're sending over through insights for the recommendations.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right, so we've been looking at these results for a while. Obviously, these are the mustache templates you brought across, but I want to talk a little bit about the fact that these are, in all of your result sets, are essentially live image carousels. Is that accurate?
Yes. Absolutely. So everywhere we have the tile is actually very universal on the website. So every time you see a product, you can just hover through it to see the mannequin actually wearing it, the model wearing it. But you can also just scroll through the whole library. This was quite a technical challenge, especially regarding all the web vitals Google is trying to put us through for performance, obviously, for performance-related issue, obviously, but it's still a very important matter to us, especially that the main user of the Maison Kitsune company are from the Apple ecosystem, so using iPhone or MacBook, especially using Retina screens. So the idea behind it was, how do we make sure that all the users have the perfect image for their screen and for their device without interfering with the other device as well, without tanking all the performance work we've been doing for such a long time. So to solve this issue, we actually have, I think, one of the biggest sizing object on Algolia regarding all the products. We have this media gallery object live from Algolia, which has all the different pictures for different resolution for a classic user using a desktop.
Oh, wow.
If you have Access or whatever, Retina pictures as well for classic mobile pictures and Retina specific pictures. All of this is actually generated through Magento and pushed to Algolia afterwards anytime product is saved. So we have a whole custom template generating all the images related to the product itself. But just having that was not enough to make sure that the performance was staying top-notch. One of the key features we have on the website is that anytime you are loading a web page, like just as of now, all the pictures that you see, the 4 different pictures at the bottom of the screen, are not fully loaded. It's just a placeholder picture that is quite good quality, but not too much to overload the network. But the second you actually hover it, we just instantiate the slider and we're getting all the pictures through the network to be sure that you have a perfect carousel running with all the high quality pictures just for your device.
I love how dynamic this result set is. There's so much interactivity baked right into the results. I'm sorry, Tim, I see you popped up. So
yeah, I'm keeping up with your discussion in the chat, and there's a question in the chat regarding this image sizing, wondering if you've ever considered using something like Cloudinary that has a way to do a proxy that serves the best image for the actual user based on user agent.
Yes. One answer is the cost. The other is the duration of implementation. We've been running on a tight schedule. And even though it took a little bit of time to get the refinement up to the standards to have this running, we were very proud to still have it in-house, not depending on anyone else. And we are sure of the data we're getting because we're always having the hand on the images themselves because we are monitoring the servers and where they are uploaded and everything else.
Okay, yeah, that's an honest and clear answer. Question from my own now, do you have some kind of lazy loading of images that are below the fold, like you only load them when they are visible?
Absolutely. We're using all the best practice from Google and from Hyvä regarding native lazy loading everywhere. The only case where it's almost false but still kind of true is when you're using the website in a mobile device, because since we need to have all the dots available on the go to make the user scroll through, we have to keep a trace of where the user is running on the website. So you see, it takes a little bit of time, especially because on desktop, on mobile, you don't even see it. But there is a little bit of delay to instantiate all the correct tiles at the same time. So the idea is to have a batch of pictures being preloaded anytime the user is scrolling, because lazy loading is not magic and it doesn't solve all the issues at the same time.
That is such a clean implementation with all the best practices, both in terms of UX, of Magento, of Algolia. I'm really impressed. This is really a job well done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love that you were able to kind of take some of the existing stuff that you were using in Magento 1, transition over. I love that you've learned some valuable lessons, hopefully that other people can benefit from. And I'm excited to see what you keep doing in the Magento space. So
Thank you very much. Actually, I want to give a massive shout out to the team, because I was certainly not alone. We were a whole team of 5 people behind it, and a massive shout out to Emily, which really is the biggest genius around here regarding Algolia and Magento. It's very impressive.
well, maybe we can have you both back for a live coding session sometime. That would be kind of fun.
That would be lovely, yes.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you, Klauss.
Thank you so much,
you.
both of you. That was really interesting.
Okay. Bye, Tim.
Bye.
See you.